Hello and welcome to DC Monsters Late Hour. I'm your host, DC Monster, here to answer all your questions. Keep this in mind, I am not a medical professional, so if you ever have any issues or anything that is out of my stratosphere, anything from emergencies, from any type of issue, please contact your local healthcare provider or 911 if it's serious than that. Now, I'm going to ask from anybody to please keep in mind, like I said, if you have any questions, please leave below the comment section. Now, I guess my first question today is, what's the big deal with all these added sequels? Now, we all know that the new Purge movie is coming out, and yet to myself, I felt that the movie should have stayed 2, 3 instead of 4. No offense to the people who are making this movies or so, but we've seen Resident Evil, and we've seen the sequel to Silent Hill. Now, I wouldn't say that they were bad or so, but they kind of lost the credibility when it came to the authentic games. And that goes without saying for any other type of sequel, now or trilogy, depending. The Purge for me should have stayed as a trilogy. I'm going to keep this in mind. I have not seen the first Purge movie that's about to come out, but I keep wondering to myself, is it worth to come in the first place? For us, movies have always been a form of entertainment. The whole idea of going to see something different is pretty unique for some people, but let's face it, sometimes trilogies or sequels or anything are not worth to see at all. But what is The Purge, we might ask ourselves? The Purge is basically a night of crime being legal for 12 hours once a year. Are we basically already paying money to see a movie that we've kind of seen already 3 times? Even if it announces what the movie is all about, I'd have to wonder what really is wrong with people if they would ever assume that something like this would ever happen. If you remember from the first movie, from the scientist in the TV says, we are a violent species. Yes, we are a violent species. Considering the fact that we are kind of a cancer to the planet, it's kind of sad actually. All we think about so much is personal gain, hate, and greed. Honestly, I have no desire to see the film. I'm already going to be seeing... why would I want to see something that I've already seen before? That's all I'm living to it. The second question I'd like to ask is, the idea of, well, being famous in YouTubers. Now, I have seen some interesting YouTubers. I really can't blame the credibility that they put themselves into, especially when it comes to negative backlash. One of them, I would assume, would be telling it like it is, but not caring, would be known as one of my favorite comedians, A Dose of Buckley. Honestly, it's interesting to hear an opinion being told how it is and not caring. And yet, for all the negative comments he's probably faced, it's cool to actually carry on. But I doubt he's doing this for personal gain, or if he is, not much of a bad influence. I can't blame a person who is literally angry and fed up with stupidity. Hell, I can't really blame him considering the fact that how it's mostly accurately true. You might want to go look at his channel. He's very impressive, actually. and knows how to tell it like it is when it comes to just terrible music. I mean, you're gonna love Musical Autopsies and this worst song list of this year. He makes it sound more fun, considering the fact he's a comedian. My next YouTuber I could probably have respect for would be The Amazing Atheists, or as some people might know him as TJ. For a guy who is able to do all these studies and claim that there isn't a higher power or so, it has a lot of guts to it. I recommend seeing him too. He's quite good at what he does. And like Adosa Buckley, he's also an asshole, but he acknowledges the fact that he is an asshole. Oh, and I really don't care who gets upset when the fact that I'm cussing myself. That's sort of a stress reliever, if you know what I mean. The guy has his own unique possibilities. But we also have those YouTubers who are just so desperate for attention. And I'm not causing slander, I'm just telling it like it is. But we have people like Jake Paul and what was the other person's name? Oh yeah, I forgot. Shane Dawson. Zoella. Any gaming YouTube channel which doesn't put any work effort to it. These types of YouTubers are literally just trying to have attention for themselves, but not only make that, but make money off of it. I feel like that's sort of like simply normal when it comes to people who have a ego issue. Honestly, this is my fair use of opinion, so yeah, good luck trying to put me in the ground, because considering the fact that it's my First Amendment right, I have the right to say whatever I want. I don't really see these people actually as unique individuals, other than like they see in Hollywood, jesters for amusement. Why would people go so much lengths to try and gain and money from it? It's just sad. Oh, especially Logan Paul, the enabler of idiots who would probably see this guy as a hero or so. But honestly, if you remember seeing his previous videos, A Day in Italy, basically his Japan videos, he's causing a negative stereotype on Americans, as if we have the President of the United States, Donald Trump, to make that worse for us. Now keep this in mind, I'm basically just laying out my opinion. So calm yourselves. I really don't care what you think of me. People who are so desperate for attention and ego, it's just ridiculous. We all wonder what's wrong with the world nowadays, and sometimes we just have to watch the bumpy ride. Honestly, I do hope some of these people get their act together. There's no way you could actually find YouTube as a stable income. And since we're on the topic of incomes and such, why don't we go to my question of number 3. Blaming a generation of another. You've seen it on the news a couple of times, and you've seen it on radio talk shows and such. Blame everything on the millennials. Okay, so you're blaming people born in a certain generation over another generation. And ironically, this is kind of hilarious. Generations always come to the higher moment. Millennials, aside from being between the late 80s to early 2000s, it's kind of ridiculous how you have the audacity to blame everything on a group of people claiming that we don't, or they don't think how the world works, or how they are not contributing. Oh, believe me, they are trying their best. A lot of them are. Blaming everything on a generation. I'm pretty sure people will blame you on your generation too, and the previous one, and the previous one, because to tell you the truth, I doubt millennials are the worst generation. We've had a lot of horrible issues in history, and believe me, they've happened during other generations as well. You're mad at millennials because they're not buying materialistic crap like a petty diamond ring that's basically worthless, or the fact that we're not putting too much effort in our work. You do realize that the generation behind us and the generation before, it's kind of making that problem happen. People are so desperate for personal gain and money and greed that they don't realize how eventually the next generation is going to suffer for it. Because apparently that generation was so stupid, it had no idea what the issue was going to become. And regardless, don't blame everything on one generation. Ironically, from Pure to all, a lot of people are to blame. But if you painfully demonize one group of people born from an era or same time zone, well, that just makes you sound like a total idiot. Honestly, I really just couldn't care less what people think of me. I'm just voicing my opinion. Why should I care what slab of nonsense will do to me? I keep on going. For some reason, I just don't feel myself compelling and contributing to nonsense when I tend to focus on my own life. That's all I gotta say. Like and subscribe for all I care. I honestly just don't. And if you have any questions or so, feel free to ask. Oh, and please give me the hate comments too. I mean, those are obviously fun for me. You think it's gonna hurt my feelings that someone's gonna call me a creepy or crazy liberal or someone who just doesn't know how the world works? Well, go ahead, big guy. Tell me that I don't know anything. I honestly just couldn't care. Till next time, DC Monster out.